Tonight on CTV News at 6. It's been 2 years since Lonnie Chum was hit and killed in Moose Factory. Authorities are now offering $100,000 to help find the person responsible. Plus, there's a new living wage in Ontario when it comes to earning a living.
You're going to be earning $122.50 less than what you need every week in order to cover your rent, cover your bills.
Labor officials say you'll need 80 cents more this year to make ends meet. And remembering our soldiers and those who have laid down their lives for our freedom.
The least we can do is, remember them for at least one day of the year.
East Ferris gathers one day early as part of Remembrance Day.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Rima and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Tony is off. Provincial police in Cochrane responding to a single vehicle crash Sunday to find the driver was impaired. Around 2 a.m. Sunday, patrol officers found a car in the ditch off Highway 11 west of Cochrane. While speaking with the driver, officers determined they had been drinking. The 27-year-old driver was arrested and subsequently charged. They've also been given a 90-day license suspension. Sault Ste. Marie police are looking for help in finding a man wanted in connection to a robbery at a Canadian Tire on McNabb Street.
On November 7th, 2025, an unknown male was at Canadian Tire. The male was observed by store security concealing 2 items valued at $90.
When security confronted the man, police say he pulled out a needle to threaten staff with and fled the store. Police are asking anyone with information to contact police or Crime Stoppers. A $100,000 reward is now being offered for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person responsible for the death of Lonnie Chum. The 21-year-old was found dead on Jabin Street in Moose Factory on November 7, 2023. Investigators believe she had been struck by a pickup truck at around 3 in the morning. The case remains unsolved, and James Bay OPP is leading the investigation. Friday marked 2 years since her passing. Mourners, friends and family held a candlelight vigil for her this Friday morning. Anyone with information is asked to contact the OPP or Crime Stoppers. A 24-year-old has been charged with second-degree murder in the death of a 67-year-old Thunder Bay man. On October 30th, police were called to a home where the deceased was found. Through their investigation and with the public's help, they identified the 24-year-old suspect who's believed to have stolen the victim's car and drove to another area residence to rob it. You can read more on this story and more news for the North by visiting our website at CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca. The Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities says it welcomes the commitments it says it saw as part of Ontario's fall economic statement, which was delivered at Queen's Park last week. Among some of the highlights, FNOM says it's encouraged by the province's commitment to balance the books by 2027-2028. The organization says it's also encouraged to hear about the pilot project to bring ride-sharing services to communities along the Northlander corridor. There's also the improvements in funds being made available to the Connecting Links program.
OPP costing is, or 11% rather, is still too high, and I think there's some work to be done there. But hey, listen, we can't expect everything overnight, and we continue to have dialogue with the province on these issues and make sure that they hear what we have to say.
Florida says they'll continue to advocate on northern issues, including the effects of tariffs on local economies, and they're optimistic about what the future holds. A drinking water advisory is in place for Killarney today. The town's water supply was interrupted due to a malfunction. While the supply has been reestablished, Public Health Sudbury and Districts is saying municipal water is not safe for consumption and boiling. It may not make it safe. The water can be used for bathing and laundry, but until Public Health can finish testing, the advisory will remain in place. For a full list of do's and don'ts, you can visit our website at CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca. Time for your first check on weather, and with more, here's CTV's Rick Wyman. And Rick, the repair guy's coming to work on my furnace tomorrow, and it sounds like not a moment too soon.
Well, it's about time. You'll get a bit of a break-in by the end of the week as temperatures start to warm up just a bit compared to what we experienced on the weekend systems map. We've got a band of precipitation coming in by about midweek Wednesday. Some sleet, some showers or flurries depending on your locale. Normally more snow to the north and the rain to the south, so we'll keep a close eye on that. Our current temperatures and a lot more coming up as well. Your 7-day forecast and a pretty cool pick of the day, this time from Sault Ste. Marie, with a little bit of snow that was captured on the weekend by one of our astute viewers. Ian, that's coming up a little bit later on. Back to you.
Looking forward to it, Rick. Thanks so much. Still to come on CTV News at 6. Remembering our heroes, East Ferris comes together one day ahead of Remembrance Day. And it's been 50 years since she sank in the Great Lakes. We'll remember the Edmund Fitzgerald after this.
We will never forget your bravery, your strength, your sacrifice.
The very best and bravest of our nation. These heroic souls stood on guard for freedom.
Join the CTV News team and me as Canada comes together to remember.
Remembrance Day 2025, Tuesday morning at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on CTV.
Communities across the country are preparing for Remembrance Day ceremonies tomorrow. The 49th Sault Ste. Marie Field Regiment will be conducting a gun salute using their C3 howitzers. The regiment will be firing blank rounds as part of Remembrance Day ceremonies in Sault Ste. Marie and Richards Landing between 10:30 and 11 a.m. before the moment of silence. In North Bay, dozens of students and members of the public joined veterans and dignitaries outside the city, braving the cold winds at the East Ferris Cenotaph for a Remembrance Day ceremony ahead of November 11th. CTV's Eric Tashner reports.
The sound of the drum drowns out the wind. The wreaths laid, heads bowed, appreciation expressed in silence. East Ferris's Remembrance Day ceremony showed a sign of courtesy and gratefulness.
You're seeing more and more come out to these celebrations of what we have today for those who gave their lives.
In Flanders Fields.
Students from École St. Thomas d'Aquin were in attendance and participated in the ceremony. Leading up to Remembrance Day, students are studying about both world wars and the sacrifices made.
We read a few articles. We're reading about the trenches. I have a friend whose mom is one of the captains, and I really wanted to join the Army, so I decided to start with this.
Clark's and other veterans' heart fill with joy, seeing more people every year come out to the cenotaph.
That means the world to them, because then they know that they're being backed by their fellow Canadians.
East Ferris Mayor Rick Champagne is paying tribute to his father-in-law, who was part of the Normandy landings.
He was a master mechanic, and he was there on the front lines. And to remember everybody also at the same time. Remember all the people from our municipality that have been involved.
East Ferris always holds its Remembrance Day ceremony a day or two before November 11th, so Legion members, veterans, and dignitaries can attend other ceremonies that day. The municipality doesn't want to conflict with their schedules.
Our cenotaph is second to none, and we've done a lot of work here, and the volunteers have done a lot of work here through Veterans Affairs and the Knights of Columbus and all the volunteers.
As all of Canada looks toward a somber day of reflection tomorrow, the students put it best.
The least we can do is, remember them for at least one day of the year.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, East Ferris.
A big funding announcement today for Nipissing MPP Vic Fideli as part of Veterans Week. $55,000 is going to Canadore College to support members of the Canadian Armed Forces turn their military training into high-skills job training. The goal is to give college credits in high-demand career paths to service members based on the skills learned during their military service. The Ontario Council on Articulation and Transfer has launched a prior learning assessment and recognition projects at 6 post-secondary institutions across the province, including Canadore. Well, every year, Ontario's Living Wage Network calculates a new living wage based on current costs of essentials such as food, housing, transportation, and childcare. Today, organizations in Sudbury came together to discuss the local context of affordability, the impact of rising costs, and how living wage employers are leading the way. CTV's Lindsay Alick reports.
The living wage in Northern Ontario rose 80 cents from $20.30 in 2024 to $21.10 in 2025. That's $3.50 more than minimum wage in the province.
You're going to be earning $122.50 less than what you need every week in order to cover your rent, cover your bills, and, enjoy some food. And that gap is largely driven by the cost of rent. And then one of the other driving factors in the north is the additional cost of transportation.
The Advocacy Center, along with officials from Public Health, the United Way, and the Sudbury and District Labor Council, presented the numbers and what they mean for the community at City Hall on Monday.
If you don't have enough income, you're not able to pay for some of the basic necessities of life. More difficult to pay for shelter, which protects you from ailments. More difficult to pay for food, which is important to nourish your body and give it the nutrients to be healthy. More difficult to pay for things like education to give you the advancement and fulfillment in life.
Charity is not going to be able to solve all of our problems around poverty in our community. So coming together and really discussing that livable wage for individuals to be able to access is that first step of sustainable change within our community.
Florence says the call to action is to make everyone aware that the Ontario Living Wage Network exists and that employers can be a part of it.
We know that when an employer is a decent work employer, when they pay a living wage, when they treat their employees well, employee morale increases. When you've got happier workers, they are more productive.
We have chosen the Public Health Sudbury Districts to be a living wage employer. It was difficult to make that work in our budget. We've put that as a priority, and I encourage all employers out in the region to do that as well. If we can all choose to do this, we can all be acting collectively to raise the health of people in our community.
Public Health has been paying employees a living wage since 2019. According to the network, there are 639 certified living wage employers in the province. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
The province's decision to sideline school board trustees has sparked anger amongst a group of parents. They say the move is specifically impacting students who need special education. CTV's Siobhan Morris reports.
What supports even exist?
This mom of 2 kids with special needs explains many parents like her feel lost.
We are on islands all by ourselves trying to navigate this system in a storm around us, and we don't know where we're going.
Trustees who'd been intermediaries, a conduit through which to get answers, not available at school boards where provincially appointed supervisors have taken the reins.
The supervisors in the 5 appointed boards are not responsive. They're not responding to emails or calls or parent queries.
With fear of creep to other boards, advocates are urging parents to bring their problems to the Minister of Education, dubbing him a super trustee.
Did your school board increase the size of your child's special education class in a way that makes it harder for your child to learn? Better call Paul.
Paul Calandra has turned off the streaming of board meetings and accused trustees of squandering money and time. Disability advocate David Lepofsky argues trustees have been blocked from making meaningful decisions to help students.
What the heck are they there for? So the solution isn't take them away. It's empower them to actually overcome the tyranny of the education bureaucrats.
The Ford government has sped up the process to pass Bill 33, which would make it easier for the minister to take over school boards.
I want it passed so that I can take action, not only in the boards that we're supervising, but across the province to ensure that teachers get what they need and that kids succeed.
A spokesperson for Minister Calandra emphasizes that funding for special education has been boosted by more than $1 billion since 2018. It says school boards were put under supervision to restore accountability and trust. Calandra is still considering eliminating trustees entirely, making a decision by the end of the year.
If this cancer grows, we're all in for a great deal of trouble.
At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Canada Post has submitted its plan to Ottawa to transform its struggling business into a financially sustainable postal service. The federal government gave the Postal Service 45 days to deliver a plan, adapting a suite of changes, including adjusting mail delivery standards and adding more community mailboxes. But Canada Post only plans to share the details after Ottawa signs off and has declined an interview. Its CEO says the plan will modernize the post office while protecting the service. This comes as the Crown Corporation continues collective bargaining talks with its largest union. Postal workers are still on rotating strikes. Today marks the 50th anniversary of the tragic sinking of the SS Edmund Fitzgerald on the Great Lakes, killing all men on board in Canadian waters.
The 29 men, there's a face behind those men. And behind those men, that's me. That's family members. That's people that still are here, and we love them.
The Fitzgerald was headed from Wisconsin to Detroit in 1975, carrying 26,000 tons of iron ore when it was hit by a brutal storm. It's the largest ship to ever sink in the Great Lakes. The vessel remains at the bottom of Lake Superior, about 27 kilometers northwest of Whitefish Point in Michigan. No bodies have been recovered. The remains are protected as a gravesite under Canadian law, banning unauthorized dives to the wreck. Back now for a check on the current conditions with Rick Wyman. And Rick, it's still looking pretty chilly out there.
It is rather chilly, and it's going to go down to -13 with the wind chill in Greater Sudbury for this evening. We'll get to that in just a moment. Some of our current temperatures for tonight. Forecast radar, we've got some precipitation moving in, Ian. You'll be happy to note we've got some sleet. Wednesday, Thursday, showers, flurries, but warming up by a couple of degrees. Meanwhile, our currents, let's begin in Moosonee as we always do. Some fog and -3, Cochrane -7, mainly cloudy there, mainly cloudy, some slight precipitation in Timmins. Drizzle, ice pellets, -8 degrees depending on where you are. -7 in Kapuskasing with some flurry activity. -8 in Chapleau as well. Wawa -4, partly cloudy in the Sioux at -4. And continuing in Parry Sound at -8. Here we are in North Bay -13, Temiskaming Shores -10, and Kirkland Lake -10. Right across Highway 17, Elliott Lake -8, Espanola -7, Greater Sudbury -9, and Gore Bay -5. Back in just a few, Ian, with our 7-day forecast and pick of the day.
Thanks, Rick. Next on CTV News at 6. Canadian vineyards are seeing an opening on the store shelves they're looking to fill. And sales might be up, but a new report suggests there are still major barriers between provinces. Canada has had a measles-free designation since 1998. Now, declining vaccination rates and sporadic outbreaks have stripped Canada of the status. CTV's Andy Bergeron-Oliver has more on what this means.
Measles is one of the world's most contagious diseases, but low vaccination rates leading to a year of outbreaks across the country have lost Canada its measles-free status.
Everything's pointing in the right direction. Unfortunately, we couldn't stop the outbreak completely in time to lose our elimination status. But the direction of travel is that we will get it back.
Canada received its measles elimination status in 1998 after decades of rallying to stop its circulation. But now the virus has come roaring back. From 1998 to 2024, an average of just 91 cases were reported annually. So far this year, 4,800 cases have been confirmed, with another 362 considered probable.
It's because of some localized areas that have been under-immunized. And it's a shame because it's not a reflection of overall Canadian experience.
Measles infects the respiratory tract and then spread throughout the body, with a rash and high fever the most common symptoms. While most recover, it can cause deafness and, in rare cases, death.
The second the rash starts, it's like anybody would know. Literally from head to toe, under their feet, in between their toes, everything.
Michelle Sear's daughter was hospitalized with the measles last month. Sear has no idea where she caught it.
Make sure you do your vaccinations. That's my biggest concern, because if I was a little late with hers, and I think that if I would have got it on time, then maybe she wouldn't have got it.
The Public Health Agency of Canada says transmission is slowing, but that it will take time to finish this outbreak. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
The U.S. Senate Majority Leader is urging lawmakers to quickly pass a deal aimed at ending the 6-week government shutdown.
I would encourage every member of this body, Democrat or Republican, pro-bill or anti-bill, not to stand in the way of our being able to deliver the coming relief quickly. The American people have suffered for long enough.
On Sunday, the Senate passed a bill that would restore government funding at existing levels through January 30th. That funding expired on October 1st, leaving thousands of government workers without pay. Here at home, the Prime Minister was out selling his budget on the East Coast today. Mark Carney announced the next segment of major projects will be revealed on Thursday. CTV's Mike Lecouture has the details.
With this next round of major projects, the government will face even more pressure to please every province. And the Prime Minister was providing few hints as to where they will go.
The next round of major projects is going to be announced later this week, on
Thursday.
So we know when, but we don't know what will be announced in the second phase of the so-called nation-building projects. New Brunswick was left off the first list in September, but Premier Susan Holt is hopeful that won't happen this time.
We've been working hard on a number of projects, and the announcement won't be the interties. It will be one of the other projects that we've been pushing for.
The first round of projects to have federal support included LNG expansion in BC, a small modular reactor project in Ontario, expanded port facilities in Montreal, and 2 mines in Western Canada. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith is pushing for a bitumen pipeline to Tidewater to be on the next list. On her radio show this weekend, she said she's in discussions with the federal government.
We've been going back and forth now daily on a memorandum of understanding, and I hope that we're able to iron out some of the differences that we have in time for Grey Cup or shortly after.
BC's premier has pushed back on a pipeline running through his province, but Prime Minister Carney hasn't ruled one out, possibly dropping a hint last Friday.
One of the things with, don't worry, we're on the pipeline stuff. Danielle's on line 1. Don't worry, it's going to happen. But, well, something's going to happen. Let's put it that way.
The Prime Minister's announcement will be in Prince Rupert, BC, perhaps an indication that province will see the approval of another major project. Mike Lecoulteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
The decision by Canadian provinces to pull U.S. wines and liquors from the shelves is having an impact. That's created an opening in the market, and Canadian vineyards are hoping to fill it. According to the California-based Wine Institute, U.S. wine sales in Canada fell 91% in the second quarter of this year. Meanwhile, the president of Wine Growers Nova Scotia says wineries in that province have seen an uptick in sales, and the LCBO says sales of Ontario VQA wines, which are made entirely from local grapes, are up 67% over year, with red wine sales rising 80%. While sales are up across the country, there are still major barriers to sell outside their own provinces. This, according to a new report from the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. The report blames outdated rules and complicated processes for blocking Canadian producers from reaching new domestic markets. They say a lack of energy for change has resulted in a fragmented system that drives up costs, limits choices, and stifles small producers' growth. CFIB is urging the provinces to work together to implement commitments made under the Canadian Free Trade Agreement and recent memoranda of understanding on direct-to-consumer alcohol sales, including a strategic rollout plan for May 2026. There's more news ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick Wyman.
You really want to hear the details of this one, Ian? I mean, I know you're kind of wondering what's going on here. Let's check out our forecast radar. We got a system coming in very shortly. We'll get some warmer weather, but we also have some mixed precipitation in the form of snow, flurries, showers. Nothing too severe compared to what some areas did receive, especially the GTA over the weekend, where they can't handle snow. Here we go. Overnight conditions, chance of flurries, Greater Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie, chance of flurries. Periods of snow in Timmins, nothing too severe. Temiskaming Shores, chance of flurries, and periods of snow in North Bay. Meanwhile, in Moosonee, chance of sleet this evening. Chance of flurries in Caphurst. Wawa, chance of flurries in Gore Bay and Perry Sound. Flurry activity down 69. Here we go. Sudbury Nickel Belt. Your forecast now. Remembrance Day, we've got the odd sunny break, but predominantly cloudy tomorrow at 1. Chance of sleet for a couple of days. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, sunshine at 1. Cloud cover Saturday and 2. Rain in the forecast come Sunday, going all the way up to 5 degrees. Normally you're sitting at about 3. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, Remembrance Day Tuesday. The odd sunny break, chance of flurries, rain or snow Wednesday, Thursday, chance of sleet again, both days at 5, 4 degrees on Friday, sunshine Saturday, cloud cover at 6, and again rain on Sunday, also at 6 degrees. So it will perk up by the end of the week, heading into a new week. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing. Chance of flurries tomorrow on Remembrance Day, -2. 2 degrees Wednesday, chance of flurries. More of the same on Thursday at 1. Chance of flurries on Friday at 0. Cloud cover Saturday at 1. 3 degrees, rain or snow. We'll find out later on what that's all about with sleet in the forecast. And Monday, again, some cloud cover and -2. Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, Remembrance Day for tomorrow. We've got the chance of flurries. 1 degree, 2 degrees on Wednesday, chance of flurries. More of the same on Thursday and Friday at 1 and -1. +1 on Saturday, cloud cover, rain or snow Sunday at 4. And again, more cloud cover on Monday at -1. How about North Bay, West Nipissing for tomorrow? Remembrance Day Tuesday, +1. The odd sunny break, and again, chance of flurries. Rain or snow Wednesday at 3. 2 degrees on Thursday with the sleet. A chance of flurries on Friday at +1. 1 degree Saturday with the cloud, and rain or snow come Sunday. 5 degrees. Normally you should be sitting at around 3 for this time of the year. Let's have a look now. You want to see some snow? We've got it from yesterday. Wendy Lynn Hill, the Hub Trail behind Cora High School in Sault Ste. Marie. Seeing is believing. For those of you who didn't get the snow on the weekend, it fell in Sault Ste. Marie. How about that? It's coming everywhere down the road, so get ready for some snow in your forecast. Hey, stick around, Ian. We'll have more news after the break.
The fate of dozens of beluga whales stranded at an Ontario amusement park continues to spark controversy ever since Ottawa denied a request to sell them to an aquarium in China. There could be a solution on the East Coast, but as CTV's Garrett Berry explains, it comes with its own challenges.
The situation is dire at the former Marineland amusement park in Niagara Falls. A former trainer says pools are falling apart, animals are playing with concrete debris, and they should be removed immediately. The future of those animals is murky after Ottawa denied a permit to have the whales exported to China. But the small Newfoundland town of Burgeo is ready to help.
We feel the bay that we have there is well sheltered. It offers, deep waters as well as shallow waters, easily accessible.
Green says his town could take about 10 beluga whales and give them a good life in an enclosed but natural environment, provided it can access financial support.
We have a few third parties that are looking to help with this financially. Obviously, it's a huge financial undertaking in itself.
A second proposal for a sanctuary in Port Hilford Bay in Nova Scotia is even further along, having acquired a lease for Crown land from their provincial government.
Yes, it's ambitious. It takes a lot of money, but it's actually less money than any park would spend to build a new tank.
But according to a marine mammal expert, these proposals both face steep obstacles.
I like your comparison of a moonshot.
A mass relocation of animals like this has never quite happened before. You need infrastructure to regularly access and care for the animals. Even then, they may not adapt well.
Even if we say all of this has been solved, we still have no idea how it's going to work out. So it's an experiment.
Both of the proposed whale sanctuaries say they may be able to accept animals next summer. Garrett Berry, CTV News, St. John's.
It's an unfortunate part of flying. There's always a chance your checked luggage could go missing. It's why if you have something extremely important or expensive, you may want to keep it with you on your carry-on luggage. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
You knew you had expensive stuff in that bag, which is why you wanted to keep it.
That is why I wanted to keep it.
Stafford Gordon of Oshawa is a collector of gold jewelry and luxury watches. In August, he went with his wife to Jamaica for a memorial service and to celebrate their 34th wedding anniversary. He took 2 watches, jewelry, suits, shoes, and other items. He used a carry-on so his suitcase would stay with him at all times. But at the last moment, an airline staffer took it and said it must be checked.
He just took the bag and stepped away and left. Called back and said, "What seat are you in?" And I was like, 23, and he just left.
Gordon says when they got to Jamaica, his suitcase was missing.
I found out that there was nothing. They had no record of my bags, nothing. It was gone. So I had to attend now the memorial in my travel clothes.
Gordon flew American Airlines, and when he complained, he was told to provide receipts for the missing items. But he says some of the jewelry and watches were 10 to 20 years old, so he didn't have them. He estimates the missing goods are valued at $10,000.
My jewelry alone is worth at least $8,000.
When CTV News reached out to American Airlines, a spokesperson said, "Our team has been in touch with the passenger to learn more about their experience and address their concerns. We are working with them to come to a resolution." In the end, Gordon was compensated $1,272, which was not enough for him.
I need adequate compensation for my loss.
You have a carry-on allowance. The airline has to honor that.
Air passenger rights advocate Gabor Lukash says Gordon should have been given $3,000 as a starting point, and if he can prove the value of his items, he should get much more. He advises Gordon to take the airline to small claims courts.
If the airline takes your baggage, they are liable for your baggage. They have to deliver it back to you.
Gordon says it was a frustrating experience, and he still wants more compensation for his lost carry-on. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Major news for healthcare within the city of Timmins. The permanent home for Centre de Santé Communautaire de Timmins officially opened Friday. Dignitaries, including the mayor and MPP George Peary, were among those on hand over the lunch hour for a ribbon cutting. The health center is now taking applications for membership. Details can be found on its website and social media. Sault Ste. Marie's Heart Hub opened its doors last month in what officials are calling a soft launch to ease staff and visitors into the new changes. Local officials had to wait nearly 9 months to receive the funding letter from the province from the Homelessness and Addiction Recovery Treatment Hub. CTV's Corey Nordstrom reports.
An October 1st opening for the Sault's Heart Hub came in silence as officials looked to help staff adjust to a new service model. The Canadian Mental Health Association only received funding for the Heart Hub on September 15th, almost 9 months since the province announced the Sault would be among the cities receiving the homelessness and addiction support. Though the hub has only recently opened, it's had its successes, say officials.
We've seen about 200 individuals accessing supports on any given week, and just since October 1st, over 1,000 service interactions.
The services offered at the Heart Hub are very similar to what was available months ago, but now staff aren't being pulled from their regular duties at other local social agencies.
When we can shift from in-kind supports that we've scrabbled together in good faith together into funded positions and investments, it's going to allow us to take the existing services and enhance them and expand them.
The Community Resource Center that houses the Heart Hub also currently houses the city's men's shelter. That shelter is set to move eventually, and the added space will be used to expand the number of transitional supportive housing units on site that now sits at 22.
We could get to an additional 8, so a total of 30. As I understand it, that was our original thinking. And then across the community, we're looking to add additional units as well. So I think the number that we are planning for is about 60 that we're able to make happen within the investment with the Heart Hub.
The CMHA still has plans to eventually offer services like detox and psychotherapy here at the Heart Hub. Kay says they are currently training and recruiting staff in order to expand their scope of work. She expects some of that training will be complete in the next few weeks. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
A new study done right here in Ontario is shedding light on the connection between concussions and car accidents. The research suggests that people may not want to rush getting back behind the wheel after sustaining a concussion. CTV's Pauline Chan has that story.
Dr. Dawn Redelmeyer is an internal medicine specialist and researcher.
We looked at every adult in Ontario diagnosed with a concussion over the last 20 years. So that's a sample size of around 400,000 individuals.
And what they found was a dramatically higher risk of being involved in a car crash after suffering a concussion.
Patients in the aftermath of a concussion face about a 50% increase in the risk of a traffic crash, a 50% increase.
1 in every 13 concussion patients was injured in a serious car crash. The increased risk accounted for 1,633 ambulance calls, almost 60,000 days in hospital, and $835 million in medical costs.
It's a big surprise. What was even more surprising was just how dangerous the very first month was. That was associated with about a 500% increase in the risk of a subsequent traffic crash.
The study's findings hold not just for those driving, but even former concussion patients who are on the streets as pedestrians. They also found that the risks grew with the number of concussions a patient had suffered.
I think it's a function of the brain fog, the slowed reactions, the episodes of inattention, the times of confusion that just make it harder to navigate in high-speed traffic. You can even find remnants of it 10 years later, but the most dangerous time is going to be the first 4 weeks.
Redelmeyer says concussion patients are advised to get out of the house and do moderate activities as they recover, but he urges extreme caution whether you're driving or walking in traffic. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Still ahead on CTV News at 6. We're just days away from Santa's big arrival in Timmins. We'll show you some of the parade preparations after this.
Clothing consideration provided by
Fashion Fair. Beautiful clothing for today's woman, where quality makes the difference.
Santa Claus is checking up on Timmins this weekend. He'll be the guest of honor at the annual Timmins Santa Claus Parade taking place in downtown. It's one of the city's largest free community events, attracting thousands. CTV's Lydia Chubak reports.
Timmins High and Vocational School is a loyal participant in the annual Santa Claus Parade, and this year is no different. Students began work on their float a month ago.
So right now we're making the THVS signs, and I'm just positioning it on the float here.
This year's theme is lights, music, and magic.
We're doing a giant elf on the shelf puppet. So you can see it's not quite done, but it's going to be sitting on a fireplace, and it's going to be animated.
Downtown Timmins says this is the 36th parade, and a record-breaking number of floats will cruise their way through the heart of the city this Saturday, starting at 6 p.m.
They're going to have marching troops, dancing troops, music troops. This year we have 67 registered floats, which is another record. Last year we had 66, so we've grown yet again. It's going to be a little over a mile and a half, probably about 2.5 hours from start to finish.
Robin, who is the parade marshal this year, says he has a number of favorite locations to watch the parade go by, but he says the hot spot is in front of the CIBC Bank.
It's quite popular. It's early in the parade, and everybody goes by there nice and slow because you got to make that corner. But I see good popular spots in front of the transit, and down near the end, it's a little bit more spread out, and you have that corner in front of Osaka's. That's really good for a big crowd of people.
The Santa Claus Parade is one of the biggest free community events in Timmins and is well loved, with anywhere from 9,000 to 10,000 spectators who come to see the 1,000 people who are in it. About a dozen prizes are awarded to groups that go above and beyond with decorating their floats.
I don't think we're really in it for the prize. Most floats do get a prize, so it doesn't matter to us. It's just the build and demonstrating to the community what we can do in our shop class.
Santa's visit to Timmins this Saturday is also a chance to mail out letters to Santa, donate socks, or provide food donations for the South Porcupine Food Bank. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
And as Lydia mentioned, the Timmins Santa Claus Parade is this Saturday at 6 o'clock. North Bay's parade will be this Sunday at noon. Sudbury and the Sioux have their parades next weekend on November 22nd. Sault Ste. Marie's parade starts at 5, while the Sudbury parade starts at 5:30. Well, the holidays can be a difficult time for members of the 2S LGBTQI community. As a result, PFLAG in Sault Ste. Marie is organizing its 3rd annual Home for the Holidays event. The dinner, which began in the Sioux, is now being celebrated in several cities across the country. Funds raised from the event will go to activities organized by PFLAG, including peer-to-peer support for those in Algoma. It includes a turkey dinner, dessert, music, dancing, and entertainment.
It's warm, it's welcoming, it's good vibes, and it's just a great time for those people to come together. So really, if you're just looking to have a great time and a great dinner with people who are welcoming, supportive, and just in a good spirit, then this is definitely the night for you.
Tickets are available now, and more information can be found on PFLAG's social media. Grey Cup Week has kicked off with a big prize arriving in Winnipeg in spectacular fashion. Wow. Wow. 2 members of the Royal Canadian Air Force rappelled down to the ground carrying the trophy. A CH-146 helicopter escorted the cup. Major General Chris McKenna describes the link between the CFL and the armed forces as massive, saying they have a lot of the same values and stand for the same things.
From just inside 45 yards, the kick is up for the win! Got it!
The Montreal Alouettes punched their ticket to the Grey Cup final with a dramatic last-second field goal against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Montreal will face the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who rallied back against the BC Lions, scoring a touchdown with just 12 seconds left in regulation. The 112th Grey Cup is set for next Sunday in Winnipeg. Well, it's time for our weekend hockey wrap-up. Let's start over in the OHL, where the Sioux Greyhounds were facing off against a dominant Guelph Storm Friday night.
Zielinski now over the red line. Here's a chance for McKenzie and alone. He scores. They avoid the
Quinn McKenzie getting Sioux on the board here, tying things up in the first few minutes of the second. You can see them wearing their Poppy Remembrance Day jerseys, raising money for the local Legion. Jeremy Martin would also find the back of the net before the end of the game. But it wouldn't be enough. The Guelph Storm win 4-2 over the Hounds. The Wolves also had a hard Friday night as the Barrie Colts ride away with a 6-3 victory. The North Bay Battalion took a beating Friday with the Flint Thunder Firebirds winning 9-3. Saturday, things looking up for the Northern teams. The troops scored 5 unanswered goals in the third period, taking down the Saginaw Spirit 7-1 on the road. The Greyhounds hosted the Barrie Colts, who took an early lead. The Greyhounds would come back up and tie things. This one goes to a shootout. Hounds win 4-3 Sunday. The Sudbury Wolves would find themselves in a similar situation. They fought back against a 4-goal deficit, but just could get the extra marker. They fall to the Peterborough Petes 5-4. North Bay would manage to tie up their games against Sarnia Sting. The troops get stung in overtime, losing 6-5. In the NOJHL, a quick look at the standings this week shows the Hearst Lumberjacks maintaining their lead atop the league. As of this morning, they're ranked 16th in the national CJHL standings. The Sioux Eagles are fighting to climb their way up the standings. They picked up 2 wins over the weekend to keep them ahead of the Blind River Beavers. Ryan Reynolds is looking to bring back a classic, and Tom Hiddleston has some big shoes to fill. David Daniel has those stories in tonight's Hollywood Report.
You and I have unfinished business.
Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill came out in 2 volumes in 2003 and 2004. Now it's all coming together. Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair will unspool in theaters beginning December 5th as one movie, running more than 4.5 hours, including a 15-minute intermission and featuring a never-before-seen anime sequence.
Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. That sounds like something, doesn't it?
The 1974 action comedy Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, starring Clint Eastwood and Jeff Bridges, could be getting a remake. The Hollywood Reporter says Ryan Reynolds is producing an adaptation of the heist flick, including collaborating on the script and considering playing one of the leading roles.
From the big freeze to the great thaw, life finds a way.
Prehistoric Planet Ice Age Season 3 looks at the post-dinosaurs Pleistocene era. Tom Hiddleston takes over narration duties from Sir David Attenborough. The 5-part new season premieres November 26th on Apple TV. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Thousands of vehicles manufactured in 2023 and 2024 are being recalled in Canada. B&M Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has more on that.
More than 13,000 vehicles are being recalled over an engine concern. Lexus and Toyota models are on the list of vehicles being recalled over a fear the engine could stall. It is only a problem for cars with a 3.4-liter twin turbo engine. The Lexus models are the GX550 and LX600. For Toyota, it's the Tundra. Toyota recalled 10,000 vehicles last year for a similar problem. Owners will be notified by mail. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to $71.35. West Texas Intermediate crude is up over $60 today. Western Canadian Select is up a bit to $47.92. And the TSX gained more than 400 points to end the day at 30,316. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold up $114.62, closing the day at $41.15.90 US an ounce. Silver up $2.21 to end the day at $50.51. Copper up 4 cents, $4.88. Nickel up 3 cents, ending the day at $6.76 US a pound. Rick's back now for one last look at the weather.
Okay, let's take a peek and see what's in store for tomorrow. Kind of cool today. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We've got predominantly cloudy skies in Greater Sudbury at +1. Timmins -2, chance of flurries in the Sioux as well at 2 degrees. +1 in North Bay, chance of flurries in Perry Sound as well. Some light precipitation. Temiskaming Shores, more of the same. 1 and the chance of flurries. So again, a bit of a change, a little warmer coming up tomorrow. Ian, back to you.
Thanks, Rick. Finally for us tonight, the Canadian Premier League final couldn't get any more Canadian, and it featured a stunning goal for the ages.
Anyone's to claim in the air. Bicycle! Incredible goal in CPL history!
It's being coined the icicle kick, like a bicycle kick, but in a blizzard in Ottawa. The incredible goal scored by David Rodriguez, the first of 2 as Atletico Ottawa won the North Star Cup. They beat the defending champion Cavalry FC of Calgary 2-1 in extra time. The conditions were poor with ankle-deep snow on the pitch for most of the game. This is Ottawa's first North Star title. And to look at all that snow. That's our newscast this Monday night. Angela's in tonight at 11:30. Until then, thanks so much for watching. Stay warm, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.